So we've come on a little bit earlier, just so that we can make sure everything is set up nicely. There we are. I can move that back a bit. So there we are. So we're on now. Okie doke. So the two cards that you can see in front of me are the cards I'm going to do today. So I'm going to do them both from scratch, and I'm going to do them both sort of together and separately as well. So the two cards come from sort of one thing really. Afternoon, Annette. How are you? So I won't start making this card yet until we get to 5 o'clock, so I'll just wait for a few people to come on and say a few hellos. The inks I'm actually using today are going to be Cosmic Shimmer Watercolour Inks, and they've got like a little pipette-y thing. Hiya Beth! So it's got a pushy thing on the top, and then it's got ink in them, and it's a watercolour. Oh, that's good, Annette. I'm glad you're okay. Bit chilly today. So these are inks, which is what I'm going to be using. But let me show you some of these cards as well. I'm going to show you these samples actually, because these are the colours we actually had. The orange and the blue are the colours we had when we did a sort of lives with Creative Expression. These were the colours that they supplied to us to do the classes. So the blue is the blue I'm going to be using today. And that's the blue one there, which is Blue Skies. And then the orange, which looks really red in the pot, but it actually is an orange, is Juicy Orange. And they are just plain, I say plain, they are so vibrant and you can do so much with them. They are plain and they're not shimmery at all, so they're not like your pixie powders or your sparkles. They're literally just a nice vibrant watercolour. So, and then the yellow we have here. Now we have 9 of the colours that are out of 10 that are available with the plain watercolours without any shimmer. So we have them in stock already. It was just one, I think it was the green one was out of stock when we went to order. But then they do another lot, which are the pearlescent version. So the pearlescent version has got loads of pearlescence in them. So this is a watercolour, it's very liquidy. Again, it's got a pushy button pipette thing. But if I move that in the light there, you should be able to see the shimmer on that yellow. Yeah, so you can see that. Okay. That's okay, Shira, you are on. The message will come through, so as long as you can see the video, you should be on and you should be okay. Okay, so that's that. So that's the shimmery ones. We haven't got any of the shimmery ones in at the moment. We just wanted to get the plain ones because the plain ones are the ones I'm using. But we will be getting the shimmery ones, and there's a lot more colours in the shimmer ones as well. Okay, so that's the difference between the normal and the other ones. Okay, so what we're going to do, it's, what's the time? It's not quite 4, so I'll just show you the cards that we're going to be doing. So this is one of the cards, and I've used stars on this one and star stencil, but I'm actually going to use the cloud stencil today because that's been rather popular with us as well. So I wanted to show that you can use that on this card as well. Okay, and most of the products I'm using today are Cosmic Shimmer Creative Expression products. So that's the one card, and then the second card is an easel. So opens up like that, and I'm just going to be using the different sentiments today. I'm actually going to be using the wordies, and we've had these in as well. So the sheets of I think they're laser printed. You can see there's a lot of shine on them, and they can be foiled. Okay, so these can actually be foiled. So, but I'm going to be using them as is today. I'm going to use them as the sentiments instead of stamping some. Okay, just to change it. So it's now 4 o'clock. So I think what we'll do is now get on with doing what we need to do. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to type them in and we'll answer them as best we can. And also please share this video with your friends, family, and anybody you know that's a little bit crafty as well. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the cards sort of both sides so that they can be seen even through the demonstration, because I won't need any extra space anyway. Okay, and we're going to start off now with my first part of the card. And the first piece of card I'm going to be using is our Pick and Mix white, which is any card that can take a little bit of water, or you can use watercolor card. So the pressed watercolor card will be smoother, the non-pressed will be a lot more dimply, so you can use that and you'll get the texture from that as well. But this is from our Pick and Mix, which is just, it's not super smooth, but it can take water, but not a vast amount of it. You can't scrub it with water. So we're going to start with our background. So the first thing I'm going to do, hiya Deb on Stephen's tablet, hope you're okay. So I'm going to use this new spritzer bottle from Creative Expressions as well, and there's a little square bit here. Hi Carolyn. So I'm just going to pull that out, and this is just to stop the nozzle from pushing down if it's in your bag. Okay, and what I'm going to do, so this is our Pick and Mix white, and I'm just going to dampen the back and turn it over, and I'm just going to dampen the front. Okay, so I'm then going to take my watercolor ink. Now this isn't a shimmery one, so I don't need to shake it, but what I do need to do is I need to push the button down on the top, leave it go while it's still in, and then I've got loads of colour inside the pipette. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start pushing the nozzle gently, and I want some drip droplets around the card. Pick up some more if you want some more. And you can see where the card is extra wet, and there's no method to this at all. I'm just dropping it wherever it drops, just moving it around. If you want to be precise, you can be. Put a bit more there, I'm going to touch the card there, and I think we'll leave it at that. So literally I've just blobbed colours. You can see this one is already starting to move out. Okay, and I'm just going to take my water spritzer. Now even if you've got one like this, it doesn't matter, but I do like this one, so just to show you, you can make them blast out, but I'm going to use this one. I'm just wetting the blobs on the card as I'm going around, and you can see the colours are just spreading out. Okay, now I like to leave some of the darker blobs around. I am going to spritz them a little bit more to get them to move a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start sort of where the lighter bits is. I'm just going around in the lighter areas, so just on the edge of the dark. I'm just going to spread that colour around a bit. So I don't want to disturb the darker areas, I want to keep them there. I'm just taking a brush and if you want to spread a bit of darkness you just do that, but I'm quite happy to leave the really dark blobs everywhere, and they will start spreading a bit more because you're moving the water around as well. So there's no real masterful technique there. It's just putting those blobs down and getting going. Now if you want some little darker spots, I've got this little paint palette there where I actually put a few drops in. I can actually pick it up with a brush and I can go in and put some little dots in there, and they will start to spread out now as well. Okay, so they'll just spread out a little bit, but that's just to get a few darker dots in it. So your background is what you want to make it. Okay. It is a piece of modern art. The mister bottles are lovely. They are really, really fantastic. If you pump the handle a lot, when you leave go of the handle, it just keeps on squirting as well. So it's a very fine mist. It's a ultra fine mist, as we were told. So now I've done that, if I wanted to take up some of this water from places, I could, but I might leave that there and have these little shapes going through like a marbling. Okay, but if you want to, you can take a little piece of kitchen towel or some toilet roll and you can start lifting up some of the wetter parts of the card. Okay, but I'm quite happy to just leave that as it is with those little blobs. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pop this to the side to dry. So you can see that's all lovely. There's no shimmer at all in that. And sometimes for men's cards you don't really want the shimmer. You just want to have sort of the effect of the pixies. So I'm going to put that back to out of the way. And I'm actually done one earlier. So I'm going to bring that in and show you that. Okay. So there's one I've done earlier. And like you can see, there's no shimmer at all on there, but you get in the spots, and then you get in white areas and dark areas and light blue and dark blue. So it's really, really nice. It's a really nice effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do with that is drop this mat down, and I'm going to start to die cut this. Yes, shimmer's good, but sometimes you don't want the shimmer because we're going to be adding some more ink and pattern to this one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in my guillotine and I'm going to put the extending arm on it. So obviously there are all sorts of trimmers. And I'm going to cut this at 13.5 centimetres while it was on landscape. And I'm going to turn that around and I'm going to cut that to 19.5 centimetres. Now if I'm quite happy with this back end here and I want to get rid of a little bit of this because there's a bit more colour there than there is there, I can turn it around and do that. Okay, so your choice again. So 19.5. Okay, so that is going to be the piece that will fit in the back of that card there, so you can see that there. Okay, and then so that is for the card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fit that inside for now, just so you can see that. And then this piece is what we're going to be die cutting the shirt die. So the shirt die is called a shaped card Hawaiian shirt, and it's an elegant collection from Sue Wilson in Creative Expression. And I'm going to take the actual shirt piece here, and they are stuck on quite well with a little bit of double-sided tape on the back, but they will come off. And I'm going to use that, and even though it's got that pocket missing there, there is the pocket die as well, but I'm not using that with this at the moment. So you can see you've got a cocktail glass and a cocktail umbrella, you've got sort of a palm leaf, you've got a bigger palm leaf, sunglasses, flowers, and you could even fold a little bit of paper or pattern paper and put it inside the pocket as a sort of handkerchief. So this can be changed quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my, so I'm using the grand caliber and the grand caliber plates. I'm going to place that on top of there, and I'm going to decide which area of that I want to use. Okay, so I might just take that bit there, make sure it's got plenty of dark blobs and light blobs. Yeah, that's lovely. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm just angling it just to make it a little bit easier for the machine. And I'm going to put that through. Now I've got all sorts of die cutting machines, so that's all you do is use the sandwich that's suitable for your machine to cut it. Okay, and it's a thin die, so whatever sandwich you use for that. Okay, so that is my shirt cut, and if I hold that shirt piece up, hopefully you can see all the stitches. You can see all the stitches through it and stuff like that. I'm trying to, I'm taking it to the camera shot now. Yeah, you can just see it going up the side there, up the top and around here. Okay. Yeah, don't be afraid to type in hi into the comments, and we'll say a hi back as well, especially if you're new to watching us on here. So this is fine, but also I need to cut a pocket as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab some smaller plates for the grand caliber. I'm going to put this shirt to the back, put that there, and I'm going to cut the pocket that I want as well. So I'm going to take this pocket die, just pop it onto there somewhere and cut that. Okay. So don't forget, if you have any questions, just ask. So I've now got a blue pocket which will actually fit onto this card here. So I'm going to pop that inside there as well. Okay, just so I know I've got that. So this now can be put to the side, and I can use that again for something else. Okay. Just going to put that down. So we've now done that. Now on this blue Hawaiian shirt, it's not Hawaiian, and that's the difference. We're not actually doing it as a Hawaiian shirt. If I show a little drawing that I have done of the shirt, there's a little triangle area up in the top of the shirt there, and then there's two little bits under the collar there. And you can see that there. Those pieces I need to cut with a craft knife. Okay, and if I bring up this to the camera, you might be able to see it on there as well. Just trying to show you. I bring it up closer. Yeah, if I angle that a bit, I bring it down a bit. Too close. Get there. So there's a little triangle piece there, and then there's a little collar bit there and there. Okay, and that's what I need to cut. So I'm going to take my craft knife, and I've got a bit up close and personal there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my craft knife onto the groove. And I'm going to cut this triangle piece out first. And the reason I've cut this triangle piece out like that is because we don't need it on this card, but I need to insert it onto this card. So it's that little triangle bit there. Okay, so it's to make that shirt look exactly as if it's the back of the card. Okay, so I'm going to place that on the inside of there so I don't lose that. And then I'm going to cut the two little bits of the collar. And the reason we need to cut this bit is because it can't get into it with a scissors. Okay, yeah, it does. It looks really cool, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go right into where the line on the right comes down like that. I'll put my knife in, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut to the point of the collar. And I'm going to go to the left hand side of the line that's coming down, put my knife onto that point, and I wiggle it to make sure that it's getting the blade through the card, and then I'm just going to drag that down so it comes to the point of the collar again. Okay, now the rest of it can be cut with a scissors. Okay, and because it scores it, it's quite good, so you don't have to cut too much. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut down the collar, down the side of the collar there, on the score line that it's actually done, down to where I actually cut the collar, and the same down this side. Okay, so you can now see that the two collars lift up like that. Okay, so you can see one collar lifts up and the other collar lifts up, and it's only to the lines that are coming down. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut up those lines as well. So if you prefer to use a craft knife, you can use a craft knife. I'm just going to use a scissors, and I'm cutting it up to the shirt collar, which leaves my little collar there. Okay, and in fact I'm going to move this green thing. This, I think it'll stand out better around the brown. So you can see that's there. Okay, and then I'm going to go up the other line. Okay, so now I have that. Okay, so when you look at that and you look at this card here, we've got this collar piece here which comes all the way down, which is this piece, and then we've also got the pocket which I've already cut, which is inside there. Okay, with my background, and also on the shirt I've got these two little bits that's on the edge of the shirt there, so it's like the little sleeve parts. Okay, so it's a bit there and a little bit there. Now there is a stitch line there as well, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors. I could leave it as a whole and just keep the white shirt white, but I want to take that one off as well. Okay, so I've taken that side off, which will go on that side, which I will put inside, and I'm going to do the same with the left hand side part of the shirt. I'm just going to cut that bottom bit off there, and there's a little stitch line there which you can cut along as well. So that's what we have. So I'm going to pop that inside. We've got our pocket, and also this long strip here needs to go inside this card. So that is prepared for that one. And now this one will go with the triangular piece here. And then we have our two pieces that's going to go across there. Okay, so I'm going to pop them just inside that card as well. I'm going to put that to the side. So I hope you all followed so far. Okay, so what we've done, we've cut a shirt out of the paper, we've took a blade to cut the triangle and just the bottom bits of the collar, and then we took a scissors to cut up the two and to cut down the collars, and then we've cut either side up the two lines and just taking these two little bits off. Okay, now so that is the bit that we spritzed, and if I bring the one in I spritzed earlier, that's how that's looking now. So it's got a few more marbly lines, but it's still drying, but you can see it's got spots and it's got light and dark areas. So I'm just going to keep pushing that to this back and show you every so often, just so you can see how that is drying. Okay, so we've now done that piece. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in 2 sheets of white card to make the card bases. Okay, so like I said, we're making the 2 cards. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. So again, there are lots of scoreboards out there. I'm going to bring in my first sheet of 300 gram super smooth card, and it is just under 30. So I've pushed it all the way to the left and all the way to the top, and I'm going to score that at 15 centimeters. So 15 centimeters. I can flip it over and score over that line again, which means then it wouldn't matter whether I fold it backwards or frontwards. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop that down, make sure it's all square, which it is, and that is my A5 card for this one. Okay, so I'm putting that underneath again, and then I'm going to bring in another sheet of 300 grams super smooth. Going to push this all the way to the left again, and you can see it's just slightly shorter than 30 because that's 297, and I'm going to score it twice. I'm going to score it at 7.5 and 15, and then again I'm going to flip it and I'm going to score it at 7.5 and 15. So I'm just going over the same score lines a second time, but from the opposite side of the card. And then when I take that away and I fold the piece that's in half, I can do that fold, and then when I lift it open and I fold the next one down, then that gives me my shape for my easel, which is the same as this card here. Okay, so I'm going to pop that underneath that one. Okay, hi Diane, how are you? Hope you're okay today and enjoying the video. Enjoying the live, I should say, the video. So now what I'm going to do, I've just done my 2 card bases. Yes, don't forget to click share if you're on, and then a lot more people will know about the Facebook Live and the videos, which are also available to watch on YouTube later, and we have 60 odd videos there now. So then what I'm going to do, I'm taking some A4 card. This is around 230 to 240 gram. Can use a thinner one, but this is what we have. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut this, take one black sheet of A4 card, I'm going to take it portrait, so that's a long ways, top to bottom. I'm going to take it portrait, and I'm going to cut it at 20.5 centimeters. Okay, I always work in centimeters, I'm afraid. It's the old printing thing that's inset with me. And then I'm going to turn it landscape. Okay, and I'm going to cut at 14.5 for my first cut, and that will be my black matte layer for this card here. So I will put that underneath with the card. Pardon me. And then this piece that was left I'm putting back on, and I need two pieces now at 7 centimeters. Okay, so 7 and 7 is 14, so I'm just going to cut it at 14 first and then push it into 7, and that'll give me my two pieces now that are 7 centimeters. And these two pieces are going to be for the matte layer there and the matte layer there on that card. Okay, so I'm going to pop that with the card it's going to go for. So there's that and that. Okay, I'm going to put that there and put that to the side. So then I'm going to take another sheet of black card. So it's the same card, it's 230 gram. So don't forget, if you've got any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. And I'm going to cut that, I'm just going to cut it in half to 15 centimeters because I'm going to work with these as individual pieces. Okay, and I'm going to bring in my Grand Calder again. So now I've cut these in half, it means I can actually use my half pieces, okay, of plate, which I got an engineer to cut for me. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on there, and with these two half black pieces I'm actually going to cut the outside matte and layer die, which is also the die that doesn't cut along the top. Okay, because you can actually cut that out of a folded A4, put that at the top, and you will get a card that will stand. Okay, there is no die cut along the top. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to cut two shirts. I'm going to cut one out of each. Just going to pop that on. If you want to be safe and know that it's not going to move, just please use a bit of tape, but I'm okay. And always famous last words on a live. One of them will probably move now and it won't cut right. Okay, so I've got that there, and that has cut my outline there. But as I said, it doesn't cut along the top. Okay, it doesn't cut along the top there. So that's all I'm going to do is just take that there to leave a little lip at the top. Just got that little extra bit at the top there. Okay, so you can see it there, and I will cut that later. I'm going to pop that there. So one of them is for this card, and then the next one is for the other card. So quite straightforward really. So it's great that they give you the outline, the matte layer for this shirt, because you can do that in all sorts of colours to go with the colour of your shirt to make the shirt pop a bit on the card. And you can see by the card there, it really does. And the crack on that is just natural and normal for die cutting machines. How you doing? Hope you're okay. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy it, and don't forget, whatever you've missed you can join us again. So this one now has got the same overhang there, and I'm going to pop that with this card as well. Okay, so we've now cut our black pieces for the both cards, and that's all I do with this then, is I tear that a little bit off, and then these black bits that came from that will actually come from my matte and layers for my sentiments on the cards. Okay, so that is to the side there. Pop that to the back. So now, while I have that there, I need to do, right there, cut 2 shirts, take an A5 piece, super smooth. Yeah, so that's my next bit. Just checking my instructions. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take an A5 piece, which is just A4 cut in half, of super smooth. I'm going to bring in my old craft mat, and I'm going to use the back of it because I want to use ink on this. And I'm going to bring in my stencil. Okay, so this is the stencil I'm going to be using. It's a cloud stencil, and I'm going to be adding some colour onto this. Okay, so what we're actually doing with this is adding a pattern onto the A5, like this and this in the background, so that we can cut them after. Okay, so it's for those pieces. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in a dye-based black memento. So again, you could use any one as well. And the little droplets of that ink, I've actually put there. And what I'm going to do with that one is I'm actually going to take one of the smoothies. I'm going to use the little poppy bit on there. I'm going to pick up some colour, I'm going to dab it on my mat, and then I'm going to go in. And I'm not worried about it being blobby. I'm just using the point. Okay, I'm just using the point of my clouds. And I'm going to get some texture. So I'm just picking up a little bit of ink, putting it on my mat. Because clouds have always got sort of patterns and shapes to them. And I'm just going to start stenciling some clouds through there. Okay, and I'm going to get those clouds showing. So I'm just going to continue doing that. And you can make them as dark or as light as you want. By going over them more than once, you get more texture. And because this is water based, it'll actually dry quite quickly as well. Okay, going to do that little corner bit there, nub it there. Okay, so I'm starting to get clouds. Okay, and you can see I'm getting different colour clouds as well. A little bit more. Just going to do the end bits here. That little cloud in there. So that's that, and then I'm going to move my stencil over, and I'm going to do some more clouds. Like I said, it's up to you how many clouds you want to put in. I'm just going to continue those clouds up a little bit. Just pick a part of the stencil, pick some colour, dab them on. Okay, so that's that. And if I wanted to now, I could even go in with a little bit of black. Put them back over the same clouds take my other smoothie and I'm going to use the round side of the smoothie. Just going to go in there and I'm just going to just add a little spot of black into the clouds I've already put. Okay, so it's making them look more, so if I show you this side to that side now is a little bit different because it's got a little bit of black through the clouds and it hasn't through this one. So you've got choices to add those little bits of black into the clouds. Just going to go again. So it just makes it look more sort of weathered. Take your clouds, move them around. Don't have to do all the clouds, you can just do the odd one, add a little bit of black into them. So that is that background. Okay. Yeah, the cloud stencil is a real good one. I really like the cloud stencil. So that is that piece. Okay, gonna pop that in there. Pop that to the back of it. And I'm going to leave that as it is a minute because I'm going to be coming back to using that. Okay, so there's still ink on this mat, and because it's water based, it means that I can spray it and I can wipe off all the colour off the stencil. I will be using the stencil again, but I just want to show you that you can clean it in between if you want to go and use it on different colours as well. So remember to clean the back of the stencil as well, just in case ink have transferred there as well. Okay, so now I've done this background, I want to cut it. So I'm going to bring that in, and we need to cut it now because the bit we need to cut is for this panel here and this panel here. So instead of using stars, I use clouds just to make it look a little bit different to that one. But like I said, it's up to you what you want to use. So I need to cut this that way first, and I need to cut it at 20 centimeters. So this was the reason I put it landscape when I inked it. And then I need to cut two pieces from this that are 6.5 centimeters. Okay, so again, you can either cut one at a time, which is what I'll do. 6.5. There's one. And I'm going to cut another 6.5. That's two. Okay. So that is the two pieces that's going to be fixed to these two. And we're actually going to put that together now. So you can use any of the glues you wish to use. Okay, so that's just matte and layered onto there. And then matte and layer the other one. Onto there. So this card will actually start to build pretty quickly now. Has anybody got any questions while I'm sticking these on? So what I'm doing, I'm going to stick these onto there. So if I fold that back, okay, take my one black piece here with the clouds piece on, and I bring it to the front of this piece, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a matte and layer and a little bit of white that matches around the three sides. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this forward, which is the folded bit. I'm going to put that flat on the top of there. I'm going to put this onto that area. So literally just centralize it left to right. And there's my cloud stencil, which will, my cloud pieces, which will actually go on the card like that. Okay, so adding that little bit of black into that was lovely. Okay, so that's that piece, and we've got all the pieces that's going to go with our card after. And then we're going to come into this one. So while I'm here, I'm going to stick this onto there. Now I'll get the glue out. So this was the black that was cut to this was the black piece that was cut to 20.5 by 14.5, which will give me that nice little white matten layer. There we go. Okay, so that's that, and we can pop that to the side now, ready for the next bit. So what I'm going to do, on this card you can see there are stars in the background, and like this card I want to add some clouds to it. So I'm just going to bring in my mat again with my piece. Now this time, because this is going on the card like that, it needs to be portrait, not landscape. And I'm going to bring in my cloud stencil again. Okay, and I'm going to do the same again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of blue, and if I'm running out of blue, I just take my pot again, add a drop or two into there, pick it up. I'm using the point so that I got more control, just going around it. And I could use the wider part, but I just want to put like little marks on as well. So it makes it look cloudy because it actually puts little circles down. Puts little circles so it looks like the little curlies in the clouds. Okay, and while that is there, before I move on to do the rest of the blue, I'm just going to go into my black. I'm just going to smush a bit of black. Smush. It's a nice little word, isn't it? Smush. Just to give it a little bit of atmosphere. There we go. So that looks quite nice there. And I'm just going to finish off down the bottom here. So what I might do is bring that up. I'm going to use this bottom area here. So again, I'm going to start with the blue first, pick it up with a point, just dabbing it, not being too careful with it, just lift the last of the ink off there. And because this is water based, it means you can actually just wash this after in water. In fact, I think I need a little bit more blue on that, on the bottom cloud, so one more drop. Put my clouds back on there. And then while I add in the black on this, I will actually check to see if anybody's asked any questions, so I can answer them for you. And then I'm going to add the black on. So let's see if any questions. Does your guillotine cut A4 card long ways? I only have a small one, and do you sell them in the shop? Yes, Annette. Gavin has answered that one, but yes, we do sell them in the shop. We sell the ones that do A4 portrait. Okay, so thank you, Gavin, for answering that one before I got there. So that's lovely. So as you can see now, I've got that little bit of cloudiness in the back of that as well. So you've still got the different colour blues going through the back, but we've got those clouds there now as well. Okay, so again, just tidy up as we go along. Just going to pop that to the back there for now. That's my piece here, and I'm going to just spritz this again, because the next time I use this stencil I don't want to be using black, I just want to be using use the blue on it. Okay, as I said, I'm making the 2 cards in this class, in this live. I keep calling it a class, but it's actually a live. Because classes you'd have to pay for, and lives you don't. It's completely free. Okay, so there's my stencil nice and clean, and there's that. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this onto there now, so that we start getting our card base ready for this one. Okay. Now if you have problems with your card being a bit curly because it was soaked earlier, just bring in your craft mat and pop that on the top while you're doing the next pieces, while you're doing the next bits, and that will actually help that to flatten down. Okay, so we've now done the clouds on this base, we've done the clouds and everything on that piece. So this shirt bit that I have that's going to go onto this card, I want to add some clouds to this left hand side. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to add clouds to this left hand side. And I'm going to add it with the blue. And again, I'm using the same thing. Okay. I might put another spot of blue in there. There we go. And this is it. You can add as little as you can with this spot. I'm just going to go in. Just going to add a little bit of pattern. I'm not sure, but I think we just had a bird hitting the window. So there we are, so we've got some clouds now on. Got some clouds on that. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to the side inside the card already, and I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to bother cleaning that because I want to do it again a little bit later. Hi Donna, how are you? So Donna's my sister, if anybody doesn't know, and Donna also does crafting as well. So now, you can always catch up on this later on YouTube, Donna, so you won't miss too much of it. Okay, so that's that piece. So now I'm going to move on to my next piece. So I need to take my guillotine, and I need to take an A4 piece of white, 300 gram. I've got 300 gram, you could use 250 or 200, but I'm using 300 gram because I want this to be quite sturdy so that it stays upright and doesn't flop too much while it's on the card, because it's just floating on the back. Okay, so I'm going to just cut that in half. I'm going to bring in the grand caliber again and my half plates. So there we are. Donna's been watching the old lives from before, so just like I said earlier, you can go and watch any of the lives from before, and they're all on our Facebook and our YouTube page as well. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm cutting two of the shirts out of white. And you might see the lines on the white a little bit better than you did on the blue, all the stitching lines. So look if I can turn it to the light or away from the light so you can see it. Yeah, you can see them. You just see them there. Okay, but they're lovely. You get that nice little stitchy. There we are. So that's good. So that's one. Again, the spare white here will come for my sentiments later. So I'm going to cut another one. Like I said, if you're afraid your die will move, just put a little bit of tape on it and that'll go through the machine then, and then you can just remove your tape. So now I have two white shirts. And I also now need to cut another pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this piece of white here, and I need to cut a white pocket. Okay, so I'm just going to put that on there. And I've now cut a little pocket as well, so a nice little white one. Okay, and I'll pop that die back on its carrier sheet. Okay, so we've got our white shirt and we've got a white pocket. We have a triangular piece of blue which will fit exactly where we cut it from on one of the whites. We've got our shirt bit which will fit on there, which I've got the clouds on the one side, and that is going to fit on there on that side. So that'll be our one shirt, and that will have a white pocket. See, so you can completely change these shirts just by cutting them and adding things into them, and then it'll also have a black matten layer on top of there. And then on the other shirt I need to stencil this side of the shirt. So I'm going to bring in the stencil, I'm going to just push that to the side, I'm going to bring that there, and I'm going to bring in the blue. I'm probably not going to have to add any more blue to that, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the edge of the stencil here so that it's on the line of the bit that the buttons go on. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pounce the clouds onto the left hand side of the shirt. So now we're changing the pattern on the shirt, that's all. It doesn't matter if it's textured, I don't mind that at all. Okay, so now we've got clouds there. We'll put another little cloud at the bottom there as well, just on the edge. There we are, lovely. Okay. So then I will clean that and the stencil a little bit later. Put that back in there. And then with this one, we have our shirt that goes on like that. I've stenciled the one side. And then we have the blue bit that we cut off from the other one, which will go there. We have a blue pocket, which will go there. And then we've got the two small bits that came off the bottom of the pockets. And one of them goes bottom of the sleeves. So one of them goes on the left and one of them goes on the right. And you can tell which one is which, because at the bottom of the sleeve it's thicker and at the top of the sleeve there it's thinner. So you just find the bit that matches that. And because you've cut it along a dotted line, it'll actually go on there. So we now get two completely different shirts from doing one thing. Okay, so we're going to need to stick that all together. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to bring these cards bases there, and I'm going to bring the shirts there, and then I'm going to bring in my fine nozzle glue, if I can find it. Oh, yep, I got it. So I find the fine nozzle glues are a little bit better for the finer details. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I've also got a picky up tool as well. A sticky tool, a waxy tool. So I'm bring in, it's got a ball tool on the one side and a sticky tool on the other. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use this glue to put my shirt onto the back. So you can use your double-sided tapes, you can use any adhesives you want to use just to stick that on. And once you've stuck that on, you can see that you've got this big area along the top here. I just go along and I shape it with the scissors to just get the top of that nicely. Bring a bit more. Okay, so you just take the bit off that doesn't die cut, and I will show that again on this one when we come to doing that. So what I'm going to use this glue for this one because it's a bigger area. I'm just putting glue on the back and I'm just lining up where it came from now, because you've got the lines that you cut it to. You just slot that back on where it came from. So that's why I use a wet glue on this bit as well, because it makes it easier to manoeuvre if we need to slide it a little bit. Okay, so that's that one. I'm then going to put the little white pocket on. And don't forget, mind you, if you don't stick the top of the pocket and you only stick around the two sides, the bottom and the bottom, you'll be able to slip something into that pocket. Okay, but I'm actually sticking them on flat this time. So I'm going to put my pocket right about there. And if you want an idea of where the pocket goes, just bring your die in. Bring your die in like that, and it'll give you the area where to put your pocket as well. Okay, I put my pocket a little bit lower, but I'm quite happy with that. I don't mind that, it looks nice, so that's all that matters. And then with this piece, I'm going to put the glue on the triangle, in the triangle on the white. I'm going to turn this over, so I've got my little blue triangle. Use my wax pickup tool. And pop that on there. And now that is a full shirt. Okay. So I'm just going to leave that glue dry before I go back to doing something with that. But I need to finish this one now. So has anybody asked any questions? That's okay, Shiro. You can catch up later. You can, Carolyn. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can indeed. Crafting is only limited by your imagination and your way to look at something a little bit different. I'm a firm believer of that. And that's one of the reasons we do the lives and run classes, is because some people like to get inspiration other ways, and classes and lives are one of those ways of getting it. So it's a nice way of doing it. So I've just stuck that bit that we actually cut from that one onto this one. The pocket is going to go on as well. And I'm going to put it at the same height as I did on the other one, because I quite like that height. Like I said, you can put them at any height you want. You're the one that's doing it. You'll be the one that's doing it, so you'll be the one in charge. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on these little end bits and pick them up. Here's the one. I'm going to pick the second one up. And put that on there. So that is now my shirts. But I need to put this onto my matte layer as well. So to do that, just pick it up. Place that onto my background, so the matte layer. Push that down. And then I'm just going to take my scissors. I'm going to go across like that. I'll just round those little edges like that. Okay, so that'll give you your little top bits. Like that. And I quite like this cloud on there actually. I actually put the stars on this one, but I quite like the clouds as well. So you know, use all your stencils, because most of us have got lots of stencils. You could actually emboss this one side of the shirt as well. It's not a problem with your embossing folders. Add texture to the shirt. Yes, Christmas shirt, like the rugby footballs. Just checking through all my wouldn't be by from there, but no clue what crafting is all about. But you boys are from a different level, and I appreciate you both. Thank you, Donna. Right, so there's my two shirts. Okay, so this one is staying as is, but this one I'm actually going to add some stitches to. Okay, so on the die, when you cut it, it actually does put stitches onto it. It does deboss some stitches on there. So that's all I'm going to do now, is actually draw in some lines and some stitches that are on the shirt like this. So if I put that up, you can see them on there. Okay, I'm just going to add them. So what I've done, I've drawn some lines around the top. I've had stitches where the stitches are, down the two lines. I've added stitches and lines here, stitches along there, and stitches and lines down the side. Okay, so you can see all those stitch marks in there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So if it's a solid line, I'm just going to draw that line in, which is what it is around the triangle and across that top bit there. And that's all I'm doing, is using a fine line black pen. Okay. So I'm just adding that in. The straight line across the pocket there. Straight line down the sleeve there. And if you want to, you could just do the straight lines and leave out the stitches, because the stitches are there as a deboss anyway. The line across there and the line across there. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could just put the lines in like that. But I just like to put the stitches in as well, and I'm just dotting stitches, not actually making little stitches, I'm just putting little dots. You can actually go into the dots that are there already, or you can just go along there and make your own dots. I'm just making my own, just trying to keep them around the same width apart. So you could use sparkle pens and add some sparkly stitches in. You know, there's no right or wrong with this really. Could add a fine line colour pen and add blue stitches. And it does change the look of the shirt when you do this as well, I find. And across the bottom. Yes, you could add little buttons to them, or little gems or something as buttons. They would be tiny, tiny buttons, mind. Okay, so they would be tiny buttons going down there. Like I said, if you've got colour pearls, you can put colour pearls down there, white pearls. Who says a man can't have pearly buttons on his shirt? It would be classy. Okay, and then we just go a few stitches on the pocket. And a few stitches along the blue line there, just to finish them off. And there we are. So now we have that shirt, and it's got all the stitches. It's got all the stitches on it. Okay, which really does bring it out, makes it stand out a little bit more to the card. Okay, so this is what we're going to do with this one. This one is going to go onto this card here. So we need to make a note of where the foam pads are going to go. So point of that top sleeve there and around there. So I'm just going to go like that, and I know that I need to stick it to the bottom of this bit here. Okay, so I'm going to take my foam pads, and we don't need many foam pads. Just go across there in the line, across there, and go one in the corner and one in the centre, because we want to make sure that that is going to be nice and firm on the card. And then when we come to stick it, the way I do it is I look at the glue, I look at the foam pads on the back, like that, make sure they are going to be within the card, and then just do that. Okay, because we give ourselves a guideline for that, so we knew we weren't going to go too far off. So that's that one. Okay, so the shirt is now on that one, and then I'm going to put the shirt on the other one as well. So I haven't done any stitches on this one, I've just kept it nice and clear, but I find it stands out a lot more. But you could do the stitches on this one as well. So some foam pads on the back of this one up the arm and down the centre, either side, one across the middle, and that should be fine. So it's like a little person, isn't it? There's his head, there's his arms, there's his body, and there's his legs. Okay, and I'm just going to angle that one. So we've now got our two bases like that. Men deserve a little bling as well. Definitely a net. Not as many as I would use. No, you would use a lot more foam pads, Kevin. So what we're going to do now is sort out the sentiment. So I'm going to bring in some of these sentiments. So these are, can't remember what they're called, I did say earlier. One-liners, is it? No, they're not one-liners, are they? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a couple of these. I think I'm going to do wishing you the very best birthday for this card, because I've got a long area to put it. And then I'm going to do, on this one, I think I'm going to use happy birthday to you there. Okay, so I'm just going to start to cut then. Now, if you're happy cutting with the scissors, then you can cut with the scissors. I'm going in between the top one and the bottom one. Just going nice and slowly, keeping my line straight. Okay, I'm going to cut that there. But you could cut these on your guillotine as well. So there they are, there's my happy birthday to you. And then because the other one is all the way through, so these are actually laser printed, which means you can actually foil them as well. But you have to use a laser foil, not any other foil. Wordies, that's what they're called. Thank you, Gavin. So because I'm using the big long one there, I'm actually going to bring in my guillotine to do that one. I'm just going to bring it between, I'm going to cut that. On that. I'm going to use that to push the sentiment out. There we are. So that's my long one. So there's lots of sentiments on them from, let's have a look. What are they? Have a fabulous day, happy birthday to you, cheers, birthday wishes, have a wonderful day. Hooray, just wanted to say happy belated birthday, let's eat cake, wishing you the happiest day ever, hugs, happy young birthday, birthday girl, have a fantastic day, extended birthday wishes your way, age is just a number, belated birthday wishes, cake, so did someone say cake, hip hip hooray, it's time to party, not older, just wiser, so there's quite a few different ones on there, okay. And I think you get 2 sheets of each one. I'm not sure if it's 4 different ones within a pack, I'm not sure. You'd have to have a look on the website there. Yes, Deborah has got extra long scissors. Right, so I need to bring in some white card now, which I had left from cutting the shirts. And then I also need to bring in some of the black. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to matte and layer the white piece onto a bit of black. Like so. And I'm just going to cut. It's easier to cut it when you've got a matte and layer to get it straight. So that's that one. But then I'm also going to stick that onto a bit of white again. Okay, because I want that to go on with that. So I'll leave the glue dry on that one now. And then on the black sentiment, I want to place that. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue down the back of that in wiggle motions. I want to put that. So look, so let's cut that down just a little. Just on my first one. Pop that along there. I want to take my scissors. So obviously if you can't do that with the scissors, then just take your trimmer out and your guillotine or whichever trimmer you've got and just cut them the way you want to cut them. Okay, just need to take a bit off the top. Yeah, that's better. And then I would like to put that on a little bit of black again. Okay, so that's what I want to do on there. So a little bit of glue. Put that on a bit of black, make sure it's a nice matte layer. That's that. And then I'm going to cut that again. So there's my black one, and there's that white one. Now if I want to, I could add another black onto that. But I think that one is fine for that one. I might add a little bit more black onto that one, quite like that. So like I said, it's up to you how many matte layers you use. Entirely up to you. Okay. Don't think that you just need to do one. Add layers, quite a few layers, to give you a different look. Okay. So now I need some more foam pads. I'm spoiling myself. I've used a third one as well, look. I'm definitely getting the wordies tomorrow. Yeah, I think Helen beat everybody today. She came in and had a load of them as well. Helen had a pack of them today. So I've still got a little bit of foam pad there. So I can open my pack. Let's move that. So now I have a sentiment as well. To go on this one. So that's nice there. And then this one needs to be the one that's going to, this will be a stopper. So when we put this one on, if I bring it more forward or more back, so it's got more of a matte layer. Like that, and then that will come up to there. Okay, so that's those two cards. And then there's all sorts of little decorations on the dies. As I said earlier, there are, I'll just show you. Pop that back on there. Put that back on there. Put that back on there. So as I said, there's all sorts of different little things around here. So there's some glasses, some sunglasses, and then you have umbrellas, bottles, you've got leaves. So I could do some leaves, but I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut a nice pair of sunglasses to go there, and I'm going to put a pair there as well. Okay. Now to do the sunglasses, I'm actually just going to take the black. Is everybody still with me? Are you with the village? Definitely getting the wordies tomorrow. Good idea sticking it to the card first before cutting around it. Yeah, it's always the best way to do it. So I'm just cutting some of the glasses, some of the sunglasses. So I think these sunglasses are supposed to be ones that you can put hanging out of your pockets and stuff like that on the shirt. But I'm just going to use it as a bit of a decoration as well. So there we are. Now on the original I actually used stars on this one, and I used stars on this one, but you could use circles, you could use any cogs, you know, you can really go to town with them and add. So I use silver, glitter, silver, mirror card and glitter card. But these sunglasses, they deboss and make the middle bit of them shiny. I don't know if you can see that, if I bring it close enough. Yeah, you can. Because it debosses them, it makes them a little bit shiny. You can see that there, look. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I had a little foam pad left there then. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cut that in half. I'm going to cut them in half again to give me smaller pieces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these glasses somewhere along the bottom or on the card there. I think on that corner there for that one. If you've got any foam pad showing, just lift it up and cut it at an angle, and that'll take some of it off. It's very, very sticky, and cut it off. And then what I'm going to do with that one is actually pop it. I'm going to pop that along there. Put it at an angle like that. So I've got a pair of glasses on each of them. So there we are. And now if I wanted to, I could add a little bit of glossy accents inside them and leave them become like really shiny glasses. But that is literally the 2 cards that we have done in the class today, in the live today, and these are the 2 original ones that we've done. So that's that one, that's that one, and that's that one. And if I put that under there, you can see that a little bit better because that raises that up. If I put that one under there, you can see that one better. Okay, so that one in, bring that one in, and that one in, so you can see them all. Okay, so that is all the cards. Yeah, the 3D gloss would do that. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Donna. Definitely getting the really smaller, yes, still there. So yeah, so thank you again for watching with us today. I don't know what the time is. What's the time? Oh right, so about an hour and a half to do them. So there we are, hour and a half, and we've done 2 cards, and that's been almost from beginning to end. That is now almost dry, so you can see there's more sort of waves in it and stuff like that. You can still see the wet patches, so I would dry that. You can dry them with your heat gun to get through quicker, which is what I did with the last one before, just so I could use it in the class quicker, in the live. So that's that. But yes, that is the card. That's okay, Annette. Thank you, Carolyn. And I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can always re-watch this again on our Facebook and just go to lives. and watch it from there, or you can go to our YouTube page, and even though you've seen everything and you've watched it, you can still share the video and everything later as well. Okay, and remember, we can change these out by using the shimmery ones when we get the shimmery ones in, and you can use the different colour ones. There's 10 different colours in the normal ones. Okay, so thank you again for watching us today, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you for supporting local, and we'll see you again. Bye everyone, thanks for watching. Keep safe, keep dry. Bye.